Hello everyone, welcome to our first FastAPI class at Code with Hafiz. Today we will learn what FastAPI is and why many companies use it. FastAPI is a Python tool that helps us build websites and apps that send and receive data. For example, when you use a mobile app or website that shows your name, profile, or products, it's usually getting that data from an API. First API help us build those APIs easily and quickly. It is fast, easy to learn, and saves times for developers. In this class, we will cover what is Fast API is, why Fast API is useful, which companies use Fast API, small example to run Fast API on your computer. Don't worry if you are new with Fast API and you know Python just. So let's start. What is Fast API? Fast API is a modern web framework of Python for building APIs with Python. It helps developer build fast, secure, high performance, easy to learn and scalable APIs very easily. So what is the advantage of using Fast API? Fast API helps developer build fast, secure and scalable APIs very easily. And this Fast API is based on Python 3.6 plus version, and in Fast API we have Starlet for the web parts and Pydantic for data validation. And why was Fast API created? Here question arises, why Fast API created? Earlier frameworks like Flask or Django are powerful, but they don't give automatic validation. In Fast API, we have Pydantic for data validation. So they don't generate API's docs automatically in Flask or Django. In Fast API, we have ability to generate API docs automatically. You have to write more code for input validation and error handling in Django or Flask, but in Fast API these are automatic validation. Fast API solve these problems which are in Django or Flask. They provide less code to build APIs, faster development done with the help of Fast API, built-in validation will help us to validate data, to write less code, auto-generated documentation. So as you see, Fast API is a modern, fast, high-performance web framework for building APIs with Python based on standard Python typings. Fast, very high performance on part with Node.js and Go, thanks to Starlet and Pydantic. Fast code increase the speed of develop features by about 200 plus to 300%. Fewer bugs, reduce about 40% of human developer induced errors, and easy to design, to use and learn, less time reading docs. Typer, the Fast API of CLIs. Typer, if you are building a CLI app, command line interface app to be used in terminal instead of a web API, so Typer is a Fast API's little sibling and it is intended to be Fast API of CLIs. To work with Typer, Fast API stands on the shoulder of Kent's Starlet and Pydantic. Create an activate virtual environment and then install FastAPI. In this video, we are going to learn how to create a virtual environment after installing Python in our system. Using Python, let's confirm which version I am using for Python. This will confirm the Python is installed in our system. As you see, 3.11.0 is my current version of Python. So to create virtual environment in Windows, we have a command python-m venv. Using this command, this is our virtual environment name, python-m virtual environment, the name of virtual environment venv in my case. Let's press enter. This will create a new folder or directory in this core, and as you see, this is still creating a virtual environment with all requirements still in process. Our virtual environment is creating, so successfully created. Let's go to cd virtual environment, cd scripts, activate. Sometime you will face this issue. To avoid this issue, you will activate with the help of cmd. Let's open cmd, cd virtual environment, cd script, activate. Go back in my code FastAPI full directory. I come back again. So to work with FastAPI, we need FastAPI and UVCon. So install pip install FastAPI and UVCon. As you see, the FastAPI and UVCon installed. Let's confirm this. FastAPI version. As you see, to use FastAPI command, please install FastAPI. So we have to install this. Successfully installed. So let's go one more time. As you see, 0.0.7 FastAPI CLI version. Let's confirm UVCon version. Okay, UVCon 0.34.2 with CPython 3.11. So let's, till now we start Python on our system, we install FastAPI, we create an environment. So let's start to write some code. Before going ahead, we have a key features advantage of FastAPI. As we learn, the FastAPI is fast, one of the fastest Python framework, and easy to use, less code, easy syntax, great for beginners and pros. Validation automatically checks and validates your data using Pydantic, and Autodocs automatically create interactive API docs. Swagger UI async support in FastAPI can easily handle many requests at the same time using async. Type hints, use Python type hints, making your code cleaner and reducing bugs. Error handling in FastAPI, built-in error message if user sends bad data. So these are the some key features of FastAPI. And how many real-life companies uses FastAPI? We have the Netflix for high-performance internal tools. Uber used FastAPI for data science and machine learning model APIs. So if you want to become a career in machine learning and data science, so you will definitely learn FastAPI. Microsoft used for internal projects and APIs, this first API, and Intel API for handling hardware performance data. Intel used first APIs for handling hardware performance data. And here question arises when to use fast API. You can use fast API when you want to build REST APIs, you need fast performance, you want easy validation of input output, you are building microservices architecture web apps, you want auto-generate documentation, you are working with async tasks or background jobs. As if we compare fast API with Flask or Django, the fast API is very fast in speed, Flask is medium, Django is slower on the base of speed. On the base of speed, fast API is very fast. On the base of data validation, in fast API we have Python tag for data validation. In Flask we need manual validation, and in Django we need manual using forms concept. In fast API async support, the Flask have limited async support and in Django limited, but in fast API we have async support. If we see the docs auto generation, in fast API we have Swagger, but in Flask and Django we have no feature like this. And in fast API we have type hints, but in Flask and Django we have no type hints. So in summary, Fast API is a modern and fast framework for building APIs in Python. It is easy, clean and fast, comes with built-in validation and automatic docs. Companies like Uber, Netflix and Microsoft use it. It is perfect for modern web APIs, especially with async or machine learning tasks. So we install fast API and Uvicon. So let's time to create our first main.py code. I'm going to create, this is our virtual environment. Inside core fast API we have this. I am going to delete this. I am going to create c1.py, means class1. Let's say class1.py. This is our class1 of fast API. So from fast API import fast API fast API. As you see, I switch my IDE from MainSurf to Visual Studio because most of people using Visual Studio. So here I'm going to create, first I will activate my virtual environment, cd deactivate the last environment, cd virtual environment activate. Let's go 2 step back. So I am in core fast API directory and we have class1.py inside this. From fast API import fast API. After that on first line from fast API, basically I am using a tool. This fast API is a tool, consider a tool. We are going to use this tool to work with our fast API. From fast API I am going to call this fast API class, import fast API, and I am basically bringing the fast API class, this first this is a class. As you see, so I am bringing the FastAPI class into my code to use it to create our app. So in this line, as you see, creating a FastAPI app and calling it an app. Think of app like your small website or server. This line starts your API project. I hope this will make sense for you. If any doubt till now, please comment it, guys. I am here to understand you fast API very simple and easy way. So here you will change this. So I'm going to create with this name of my app is app. So calling fast API app. So let's run more code. App.route def index return. I'm going to return a dictionary with key message and hello world. Let's understand what I did here. This line, this is a root or endpoint. And this is the get, not the root. Basically this is the get endpoint with HTTP method get. So this is an endpoint or root endpoint for our app, and this app.get means when someone sends a get request to this URL, and this is the home URL of our app. It means the base address, like I am going to show you the base address of our app, HTTP localhost 8000, and whenever the user sends a request to this endpoint, that time this index function will run. And basically I am defining a function with name index. Whenever the user hit this URL, send a request with get method to this URL. So if someone visits the home page, this function, index function, will run. So this is basically nothing. I am defining a function with name index. This function will run when someone visits the home page. This indicates the home page of our app on this URL, and you can name the function anything, home page or read underscore root and so on. So in my case I am defining a function with name index. Whenever this function will call, whenever function will call, it will return something. So when someone visits this URL, this will call and this will return a dictionary with key message and the value hello world. This sends a response to the browser or client. You are returning, basically I am returning a dictionary with one key message and value hello world. FastAPI will automatically convert it into JSON. Like I am going to run this and I am show you how the FastAPI automatically convert this to JSON. To run our FastAPI app, we have a command uv con. Our app name is class-1 app reload. Let's run this. As you see, our app is running. App not found in class 1. Let's save this. I not save my code. If I save this, you see the error gone, and our app is running on this localhost 8000 port. As you see, I am going to run this. As you see, we are successfully run our first API, first project. As you see, the first API automatically convert to JSON, this one, and we learn first API provide documentation. So to check docs, visit this get. As you see, the index is a function. Whenever this get will call, the index will return some. And here you will also run your endpoint, try it out, execute. Request URL is this one. Whenever the user requests this URL, you will see the response of this URL, and the status is 200, means successfully endpoint return response with response body message and hello world. I hope this will make sense for you. If you are new at this channel, don't forget to subscribe and like. If any doubt till now, please comment it. Thanks for watching.